Okay, recently Dr. Joel Kahn, who is a vegan cardiologist, tweeted out that he had a patient who has been carnivore for a couple of years, and that patient has become a disaster because he has high cholesterol and he has atherosclerotic heart disease. And so he goes into the background on this. And so on surface, you're like, oh my gosh, this is a problem. But when you dig a little more and you find out what information we know, or at least he was able to reveal, he said, well, the patient felt really good. And he was on a plant-based diet before. So that begs the question, well, why did he leave a plant-based diet and why did he feel better when he went on a all-meat diet? What's wrong with the plant-based diet? Now, the second thing that Dr. Kahn has famously told me personally is, why do I have a 0 coronary artery calcium score? Why do I have no plaque, obtainable on that test? And he likes that test, by the way. And he said, well, it takes many, many years, decades, for cardiovascular disease to develop. And yet this is a person that's been on a carnivore diet for a short period of time, and suddenly, oh my gosh, he's got cardiovascular disease. Could it be that all the years on being on a plant-based diet contributed to that? We don't know because we have one test, nothing that knows it's before that. And he also said he has mild cardiovascular disease at that. So without previous tests to directly compare it to, we don't know the answer to that. So it's kind of being a little disingenuous. Maybe his cardiovascular disease got better while he's been on a carnivore and it was worse as a plant-based person. Hard to say. He certainly feels better. The other thing, and let me just, before I go into that, there are a number of things that we look at his triglyceride to HDL ratio. It's 1.2, which is considered a very safe range for cardiovascular disease, that ratio anyway. Again, not so much of a disaster. High cholesterol has been inversely shown to be related to mortality in a number of studies. There was a study looking at 12.8 million people in Korea from 2019, which showed that, in fact, higher cholesterol, higher than what is often promoted as healthy, is actually protective for all-cause mortality. Remember, people die of more than just heart disease, right? High cholesterol may be protective against infections and atherosclerosis. There's studies that look at that. And then on a low-carbohydrate, high-fat diet, it's questionable if even a low LDL, high LDL is even a problem. This is another paper that just recently came out. How the patient feels does matter. Now, here's the other thing he pointed out. He said, well, also the vitamin C was very low on his assay. And so for you guys who don't know, vitamin C assessed in the blood is not a really good way to assess vitamin C status, first of all. So it's not even a very good test. But if you're implying that the vitamin C levels were low and therefore the person must be getting maybe scurvy. Well, last I checked, and I may be wrong on this, but last I checked was feeling good was not a symptom of scurvy. Usually scurvy results in your teeth falling out, bleeding from your mouth, bleeding into your joints, open sores, respiratory failure, and often death. That usually doesn't translate into, I feel really good, right? So again, Dr. Kahn misses the mark with this. This is selective data. This is a problem. You don't know how long that cardiovascular disease has been there. Could have been there for 10, 15, 20 years, and you're attributing it to a carnivore diet. Now, if he goes on a plant-based diet tomorrow and repeats the test and it's still there, are you going to blame the plant-based diet? I don't think so. Why did that patient leave the plant-based diet in the first place? Probably because they felt like garbage. Anyway, this is a real problem we have with cardiologists. They think that there is only one thing we need to do in all the world, and that is prevent heart disease, and we can just not even care about everything else, quality of life, whether they have autoimmune diseases, gut issues, arthritis, mental health issues. All those things don't matter. It's all about the cardiovascular disease, and that is a real problem here. By this information, we have no clue if a carnivore diet contributed to the mild atherosclerotic heart disease that he describes or not. Very well could have been a plant-based diet that preceded that for whoever knows how many years that is the case. So anyway, Dr. Kahn, keep up the good work, keep up the fight, keep pushing lifestyle, but I think you're wrong here, and I think we'll see in the end, right? We'll see in the end who feels better, who's happy. Now, I didn't break my foot in an escalator like you did because my bones are so weak. Now, remember, there's literature showing that vegans are more likely to break their bones, and your foot got caught in a little escalator and it broke your bone. Now, again, maybe it was just a really aggressive escalator that you couldn't get away from. Maybe you're too slow to escape the escalator. I don't know. All right, guys, we'll talk to you soon.